Let me ask you to picture a morning in your recent life. Nothing special, just a morning you open your eyes. Outside the window, nothing has really changed. Soft morning light, birdsong drifting in. But something inside your body feels different, not pain exactly, not full-on fatigue, and certainly no message from your doctor saying you're sick, but somehow you just don't feel like yourself anymore. Everything feels a little slower. Every move takes a little more thought, even getting out of bed. Something that used to be automatic starts to feel like a quiet negotiation. Easy now, don't tweak that knee again. I've been there not just once, and not just with my patients, but with my own body. You see, I'm a doctor, but I'm also a man past 60, and I've sat across from hundreds of people just like you. They start by smiling politely, and after a few minutes, their voice lowers, and they say something like, "I don't know what's going on, doc, but lately I just don't feel like me." One woman I remember well, Clara, 68 years old. She was sitting by my office window, staring out. She told me, "It's not like I'm in real pain, but every morning when I wake up, I feel like a faded copy of the person I used to be. I walk slower. I don't feel like going outside. I avoid things I used to love just because I don't have the energy anymore." And I listened, really listened. Because that feeling, it's not nothing. It's often the very first whisper of something deeper. Have you ever felt that way? It's not like breaking a bone. It's not even like being sick. It's more subtle than that. It sneaks in. It's the way your body starts, talking to you differently. It's not in a rush anymore, not automatic anymore. And sometimes that quiet shift, that thing you can't even quite name, can feel the most unsettling of all. I often tell my patients, your body isn't betraying you, it's trying to tell you something. You just have to learn how to listen. What's happening after 60 is not abnormal. It's nature at work. But when we don't understand it, it's easy to think we're going downhill. Here's the truth. There are three major things happening in your body at once. First, your muscle mass is shrinking. I'm not talking about bodybuilder muscles. I'm talking about the quiet, functional muscle. That helps you stay upright. That steadies your balance. That helps you breathe deeply and digest properly. After age 50, we lose about 3 to 5% of our muscle mass every decade, if we're not moving enough. So when you sit down and getting up feels heavier, it's not because you're lazy, it might just be muscle loss. And muscle loss doesn't just make you weak. It affects your confidence, your circulation, even your metabolism, and it absolutely affects how secure you feel in your own steps. Second, chronic low-grade inflammation. The kind of silent fire no one tells you about. We usually think of inflammation as redness, swelling, pain, but this is different. There's something called inflammation from aging. It builds slowly, quietly. Little chemical messengers fire off every day. You don't feel pain, but you feel achy. You don't have a fever, but you always feel drained. And when you get a bruise or a cold, it takes longer to heal than it used to. One older gentleman, Henry, once told me, "I used to scrape my knee and be fine in 3 days. Now even a small bump takes a week to calm down. I don't get it. Why am I healing so slow?" I get it, I've been there too. And third, your sleep and hormones start shifting. No one talks about this enough. Melatonin, the hormone that helps us sleep deeply, drops as we age. Cortisol, the stress hormone, becomes irregular. So what happens? You fall asleep late. You don't sleep deep. You wake up with a heavy head, a sore back, and this vague sense of not wanting to move at all. I had a patient once tell me, "I sleep a full 8 hours, but wake up more tired than when I went to bed." That's what broken sleep does. You're resting, but not restoring. You wake up still drained. like your body never got a chance to recharge. And when those three things start overlapping, muscle loss, chronic inflammation, and disrupted sleep, that's when your body begins to really slow down, your thoughts slow, your steps slow, even your reactions slow. It's not because you're failing. It's because your body is saying, we need to rebalance things. I know this because I've lived through it, not just as a doctor, but as a man going through it himself. I remember a very hard year when I was 63. That was the year I didn't want to do morning appointments anymore. Imagine that. A doctor who dreaded mornings. Sounds odd, right? But I realized something important. I was out of sync with my body. And that's when I began a different kind of journey. One that wasn't about pushing harder, but about listening deeper. And I'd like to invite you to begin that journey too. Today with small steps, simple habits, nothing forced. No chasing youth, just a quiet return to your body. Like reconnecting with an old friend you've missed for far too long. I know, after hearing everything I shared in the first part, about muscle loss, inflammation, disrupted sleep, you might feel a little overwhelmed. You might wonder, how in the world am I supposed to reverse all of this at this age? And I get it because I asked myself the very same question. But then something shifted. I stopped looking for the big solutions. I stopped trying to force myself back into a gym. I gave up chasing the energy of my 30s. I let go of the idea of getting back in shape. Instead, I started paying attention to the smallest things. Tiny things, so small. They almost didn't seem like they'd matter. I remember the morning it started. I woke up slower than usual, but instead of rushing to get up, I stayed in bed a few extra seconds. I placed a hand on my chest, took a deep breath, and told myself, let's just start gently today, no pressure, no forcing. Just open the day, like opening a quiet window. I closed my eyes again, took 5 slow breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. That was it, not even 3 minutes, but I felt it. My body responded differently. There was less resistance, less stiffness, less struggle. From that morning on, I added one more small thing, a cup of warm water, with a few slices of lemon, and a little sliver of fresh ginger, not because I read it somewhere, but because my mother, a woman who lived well into her late 80s, once told me, in the morning your body is like dry soil. You water it with warmth and let the light come in with your first smile. It sounds simple, but it works. Warm lemon ginger water doesn't just wake up digestion. It signals your liver. It jumpstarts gentle circulation. And science tells us ginger can reduce mild inflammation. Lemon, though acidic, helps alkalize your body. It's like telling your system, we're starting clean today. Then I stepped outside. No phone, no email, just me and the early morning light. I walked slowly, no rushing, no counting steps. At first my legs were stiff. But after 1 or 2 loops around the garden, my knees loosened, my shoulders dropped, my breath found a rhythm, my body remembered. It remembered that movement is natural, as long as it's not forced. I had a patient once, Samuel, 72, retired truck driver, big guy. He looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I hate exercise, but I like walking in the early morning when it's cool. I talk to the trees. Sometimes I hum an old tune. Somehow, I started feeling better without even trying." And I smiled because he was exercising. He was living, and his body responded. By giving him back his energy. These became my morning rituals. A few quiet breaths in bed. A warm glass of lemon ginger water. A short walk in the morning light. You might be thinking, oh, that's it. Yes, that's it. In a world full of loud promises, your body just needs consistency and a little respect. After 2 weeks, I noticed something. I was sleeping better, not just longer, but deeper, more complete. I woke up clearer, not hyper, just calmly awake. My energy came back, not in a rush, but in a steady, quiet way. And perhaps most importantly, I started trusting my body again, not because it was fixed, but because I could feel it responding. It wasn't fighting me anymore. It was finally saying, "I hear you, thank you." I remember one afternoon. I was sitting with my wife on the porch, just watching the garden as the sun dipped low. She looked at me and said, "You've been softer lately." I asked, "Softer how?" She laughed. "I mean, you don't grumble every morning anymore." And she was right. When your body feels better, your mind quiets down, you become more patient, more peaceful, more human. That's something no pill can give you. Only your presence can. So if you're wondering, can something this small really help? I want you to ask yourself, have I ever truly tried these things with consistency, with compassion? We often skip the small steps, thinking they won't matter, but your body doesn't need grand gestures. It needs kindness. And it needs that kindness every day. Today, you don't need to restart your life. You don't need a 30-day fitness challenge. You don't need fancy gadgets. You just need one slow breath, a warm sip of water, a quiet walk under the morning sky. Simple, yes. But these are the very things that open the door to healing. There's something I always tell my patients when they start feeling better. Just a little better. Your body doesn't heal with fireworks, it heals with whispers. It doesn't make a big announcement. It doesn't tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, look at me, I'm getting better." No, it speaks in the quietest ways. And if you're not paying attention, you might miss it. Take Albert, for example. He was 67 when he came to see me. Retired accountant, very precise man. He once said something I'll never forget. "Doc, I used to hate brushing my teeth in the morning. Not because I was lazy, but because it hurt to stand that long. My back, my shoulders, my knees, everything felt stiff." Then one day, about 3 weeks into his new morning routine, he said, "I brushed my teeth this morning. I didn't even think about it. I wasn't in pain." I stood there for 3 minutes, and when I sat down, I realized I felt normal again. That's healing, that's progress, not flashy, not dramatic, but very, very real. So I want you to start noticing the quiet wins. You sit down without grunting. You walk up 3 stairs without holding the railing. You wake up on a Tuesday morning and just for a moment, you feel light, not young, not invincible, just light. That's your body saying, "I'm with you. I'm catching up." I call these moments subtle shifts. Tiny movements under the surface, like the earth warming beneath snow. You don't see the flower yet, but something has changed. After 1 week, maybe you're not as sore. After 2 weeks, your mood is steadier, you're less reactive. You're not snapping at traffic or fumbling with your keys in frustration. Maybe you're not snacking all day anymore. Maybe you slept through the night. That's your body adjusting. Restoring. You might not see it in blood work yet, but it's there, and it matters. I once received a message from a woman in her 70s. She had followed some of my videos for 6 weeks. No fancy programs, just the basics. Warm water, slow walking, early bedtime. She wrote, "I haven't lost a single pound, Dr. Ellis, but I laughed this week. I looked at my garden and wanted to go outside again. I don't dread bedtime anymore. I feel safe." And that's the first time I've felt that in years. I read that, and it moved me deeply. Because that's the real goal, isn't it? Not a flat stomach, not perfect numbers, but waking up with a little peace in your chest. The kind that makes you want to live the day ahead. So if you've started noticing even the smallest changes, celebrate that, truly, if you haven't noticed anything yet. Don't stop, keep going. Your body isn't a machine. It's a garden, and gardens don't bloom just because we want them to. They bloom when the conditions are gentle and right. Don't dig up the roots every day asking, "Are we there yet?" Just water it, care for it, and trust that something beautiful is taking place beneath the surface. I remember a man named William from Oregon. He told me once, "My back has been hurting for 8 years. I figured this is how I'll feel for the rest of my life." But he began walking every afternoon, not because it was exercise, but because he missed the smell of wet grass after rain. 4 months later, he sat in my office and said, "Doc, I honestly don't remember the last time my back hurt." He paused. "I think I stopped fighting my body." And that's what I want to leave with you in this part of the journey. Your body is not against you. It's waiting for you to stop fighting it and start being with it every single day. Healing isn't about force, it's about friendship. It's about shifting from fixing to relating, from pushing to partnering. And when that shift happens, when your body starts to trust you again, everything becomes possible. When your body starts to feel better, even a little, the most important thing isn't to do more. It's to do differently. To stay with that soft rhythm your body is rediscovering, to protect it like you'd protect a young flame in the wind. You see, progress doesn't need to be expanded. It needs to be held. I once told a patient, "You don't need a 90-day plan, you need a rhythm you don't want to leave." That peaceful feeling when you start to heal. It's fragile at first, like morning mist. It can slip away. If you rush back into the old pace, the old pressures, the old perfectionism. So let me offer you a new approach. Not one of discipline, but of devotion. I call it my 1% practice. Each night I ask myself a simple question. Did I do one kind thing for my body today? Some days it's drinking enough water. Some days it's letting myself nap. Some days it's skipping the news. And some days it's simply not pushing anymore. After 60, health isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters and doing it gently. Thomas was one of my patients, 74 years old. A former military man, very disciplined. He followed routines to the minute, exercise, meals, sleep. But one day he told me, "Doc, I'm doing everything right. And yet I still feel tired, still achy, still not sleeping well. It's like I'm chasing a version of myself that no longer fits." So I asked him to do something radical. I said, "Take 3 days off, no exercise, no tracking, just listen, observe, ask your body. What do you need today?" 3 days later, he sent me a message. "For the first time in months, I feel like my mind can breathe." And the following week, he returned to his walks, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. He stretched because it felt good. He drank water because he was thirsty. He moved because it brought joy. Not because it was on a checklist. That shift changed everything. You see, if you want your healing to last, you have to stop turning self-care into another performance. It can't feel like a job. It has to feel like a rhythm, like brushing your teeth, watering a plant, turning down the bed each night. It has to feel like you don't need to eat like a nutritionist. Just learn to ask, "What would help me sleep better tonight?" You don't need 10,000 steps a day. Just stand up every 45 minutes. Walk because it frees you, not because your watch buzzed. You don't need to meditate 30 minutes a day. 3 quiet minutes will do, as long as they're real. After 60, health isn't about more. It's about meaningful. I remember Mary, 74, lives alone in a mountain town. She once said, "I used to force myself to walk 20 laps around the yard every day, but I hated it. Then one morning I went outside just to feel the sun. And I started walking without noticing. Turns out, I walk better when I forget I'm walking. She taught me something no medical textbook ever could. Healing doesn't always need goals. Sometimes it just needs a reason. That's why I'm not giving you a list of rules today. No checklist. No routines to memorize. I just want you to do one thing: protect the feeling you're starting to feel. Guard it like a sapling. And what do saplings need? Light, water, gentle space to grow. They don't need windstorms. They don't need fertilizer every hour. They just need presence. So no, you don't need to push harder from here. You just need to show up for your body every day in a way that it wants to keep inviting you back. Let your body feel safe with you, not because it's perfect, but because you are finally on the same team. I don't know where you are right now as you listen to this. Maybe you're sitting in your favorite chair, or making tea in the kitchen, or maybe you've got your headphones in as you walk slowly through your neighborhood. Wherever you are, I want to invite you to pause just for a moment. Take one slow breath in and out, because what I'm about to share isn't medical, it's human. It's the most important thing I've learned after more than 3 decades of walking alongside people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. After 60, people often talk about slowing down, as if it's something bad, as if we're fading, slipping, losing ground, but I see it differently. I believe after 60, we don't slow down to disappear. We slow down so we can finally hear our bodies, hear our hearts, hear the silence of the early morning, hear the peace we've been too busy to notice. Health at this stage of life isn't about turning back the clock. It's not about becoming someone we once were. It's about becoming present in the body we have today, with all its wisdom, its softness, its scars, and yes, its limits. I've met people with perfect lab results, but restless minds. And I've met people who walk with canes, but have eyes that shine like they're 20. What makes the difference? It's not youth, it's not muscle, it's the way they live inside their bodies every single day. David, 69, a jazz musician, wrote me this after watching my videos. Doc, I don't know if I'm what the world calls healthy, but I can tell you this. I'm living in my body with kindness now. I'm no longer mad at it for changing. I've started thanking it instead. I read that and smiled, because David had discovered something beautiful. Peace with the body is the foundation of a good life. So where do you begin? Not with the treadmill, not with the green smoothies, not with the shoulds or the musts. You begin with a whisper to yourself. I'm done punishing my body for aging. I'm ready to come home to it instead. Because once you say that, your body starts to trust you again, not all at once, not in a rush, but gradually, gently. It opens the door. After 60, what we need most is not another anti-aging routine. It's not another promise of youth. What we need is inner restoration, a returning to self, a sense of safety, a rhythm we don't want to rush. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and if you're still here with me, at the end of this long video, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up for yourself, and thank you for allowing me, someone walking this same road, to share the little I've learned along the way. I don't have all the answers, but I do believe this. Every person, at any age, can heal when they're met with gentleness, when they slow down, and when they choose to live meaningfully. So if something in this video touched you, if something stirred a quiet yes inside, I invite you to subscribe, not because I need more followers, but because I want to keep reminding you, week by week, that you still matter, that healing is still possible, that you are still deeply alive. We're not starting over, we're simply coming home.